Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today is a to pull or not to pull video, and we're going to be talking about the new Sephiroth Featured Draw, alongside Red XIII getting an insanely powerful weapon. The question is, however, and I think we all know that something is coming. I think that there is a crossover. I know that I've said that it could be sooner, but at the end of the day, this is all theory crafting, guys. I'm going off intuition. I'm a world traveler. Intuition is a big thing for me, and I still think it's coming. So that being said, let's take a look at this new draw and get into whether or not it's going to be worth it to pull when there might be something even better right around the corner. Now, as you guys can see, I have not pulled on the Yuffie banner, and I have not pulled on this Sephiroth banner. If I had to choose earnestly between the two, personally for my account, I would go for probably the matte costume with the weapon. Although the Earth Arcanum for Yuffie is super good. So as much as I love this costume for Sephiroth, and I really love this costume for Sephiroth, I just don't think that with it being a second mastery, for my account personally, I already have the Halloween costume, which is a mastery. But I mean, just in terms of aesthetics, guys, just look at this freaking costume. Like, it is so sick. I love the design of this, guys. It's so badass. One of the people in the comments said it looks almost like a Dracula type of thing. I think it looks super piratey. I just love the whole vibe of it. The like thicker flared out gloves, the gold on the sword, the gold kind of seams on the coat. It just looks dope. The dark red, and then you have his silver hair on top of that just to kind of accentuate everything. I mean, it's a badass freaking costume, like straight up. It's one of my favorite ones in the game. Just super, super, super cool. I love how they always give them kind of like the trench cloak looks too, and they kind of like flail around in the wind like a hero on an adventure. Just super cool all around. So the next thing I want to do is I want to take a look at the actual animations for the weapons. Sephiroth's is really sick, so I'm going to click and it's going to pop up on the very next slide right here. All right, so here it is. Super sick animation. Honestly, Sephiroth, I think, might get the best animations in the game. He's got some really good ones. And on top of that, we had Red XIII's right there following him. All right, so we'll see Sephiroth's one more time. So awesome. And then Red XIII, and his got a little bit more zest in it from the last one. I love how he does his little front flip right there. Super cool, super cool, super cool. All right, so that being said, let's jump in and let's look at everything. And at the end of the video, I'll give you guys my overall thoughts on this banner. Now, it's kind of tricky to do a should you pull to pull or not to pull video, because everyone, all of you guys out there, every single one of you guys that's watching this video right now has a totally different account. Now, for some people, this is a super easy skip. But for other accounts, this might be exactly what you've been waiting for. So my job is to kind of overlook accounts as a whole and to give you guys an idea of whether or not it's worth pulling. And I'm going to take a look at, different types of accounts and try to do the best that I can and say whether or not I think it's worth it. All right, so that being said, let's jump in here. I'm going to start with Red XIII and then we'll go to Sephiroth. So let's go over here to page 3 and let's look at Red XIII's weapon, right? So is there any universe in which someone goes in on this banner and doesn't choose the Sephiroth sword and goes for the Red XIII weapon? I think that there is a universe where that's possible, especially because, in my opinion, Red XIII's weapon right here is triple S tier. It's absolutely freaking fantastic, guys. I mean, this is now his second weapon that has a double imperil where both of them go to high. So now he has fire, ice, wind, water, right? And even at base 5-star, both of these go mid to high at base 5-star, which is Insanely good, guys. One copy of this is literally all you need. You do not need to go anywhere else. It's so good. I can't even believe it. Then on top of the fact that it has 2 imperils on it that at base 5-star go mid to high, right? It has a diamond sigil break, but on top of that, it doesn't cost 4 ATB, it's 3 ATB. This is the best diamond sigil breaking weapon in the entire game, and we wanted it, guys. So many people are asking for it. Red 13 is finally getting some love, and he's kind of taking the crown away from Yuffie as best imperiler in the game. I think he can now cover more elements than any other character. So really freaking cool. On top of that, the R abilities on this weapon are top notch. We have healing and buff debuff extension. However, what you want to look at is the max potency of these. And if we go over to OB10, you'll see the healing has a maximum stat of 62. It's the highest we've seen in the game so far, right? And then on top of that, with a buff debuff extension is going to be at 26 right here, which is also really good. Now, if we take a look, if we go back down to base 5-star, boost healing is still going to be at 40, buff debuff extension at 8, so solid right there. He's going to get in the support materia attack boost, ability damage plus 10%. I'd say that's like a B rank materia support. But then he's going to get attack boost, wind ability damage plus 30%. This is definitely A/S rank right here. Very solid, and these are great to have. Then on top of that, we have the true S rank materia support, all cure spells in the 3rd slot. Amazing weapon for Red 13, guys. Like, the best of all worlds. Like, the only other thing you could have asked for was for this to be a physical damage plus 20% slot, right? That's basically it. And this weapon couldn't be any better than what it is. I honestly think that this is one of the best weapons in the game. Now, is this weapon, despite how amazing it is, worth pulling on this banner to get? And I'm going to have to be real with you guys. The answer, in my opinion, is no. This is a wish listable weapon where you only need 1 copy, right? This is going to be extraordinarily helpful for this event. And for sure, when EX3 comes out and then the crash, they're going to remind us how much we want this weapon for this fight, guys. It's definitely going to happen. And, you know, for those of us that don't have it, we're going to feel it a bit. It's the truth. But the game is meant to do that. It's meant to make things enticing. But we have to remember that there's certain things that, you know, you just don't want to miss out on, right? And those are like limited weapons. They tend to be, there's always at least one on the limited banner that's just like, you know, unskippable almost, right? So I'm always constantly waiting for something like that. I think that it's best to go into a crossover with around 80,000 crystals. So I'm almost at 80,000 right now. So I'm still saving, guys. You know, and this is 100% a wish listable item. Now, I honestly think that this banner is a pass for me. As much as I love the costume, and as much as I love this weapon, and as much as I love Sephiroth's weapon too. They're both wish list items for myself. However, you know, this video is not just about my account. It's about your accounts. And I'm going to be talking about, you know, from other perspectives, possible other ways of looking at it and whether or not you guys should go in on this banner. But for Red 13's thing, if you're not interested in Sephiroth at all, you're thinking about pulling this, I think that it's a hold off, guys. Or at least wait to see what's coming in the next few weeks. I will very rarely pull for a banner at launch. Only if it's like, okay, I absolutely have to have this, right? And as much as I really want this, I know I can get this later. On top of that, I only need 1 copy to really bring out potential of this weapon. So I'm going to hold off in that regard. Now, that being said, let's jump back over here and let's look at Sephiroth. So let's look at his costume right here, guys. This is the Shinra formal uniform. It gives buff debuff extension plus 10 and wind mastery plus 10. Now, I'm going to show you guys his other costume, right, which is also a mastery. It does not make sense to me that they gave him 2 wind mastery costumes. All right, so let's look at the other one. This one gives HP and Wind Mastery. I actually really like the HP. I thought this was physical attack. Now, I thought if this was physical attack, I would have said the other one is 100% better. When you're pairing it with the weapon, the other one is definitely going to be really good. HP can still be handy, though, depending on the fight you're doing, sub-weapons, etc. I really wish they would have made that costume in Arcanum, but then I kind of almost wish that they kept it like what it is, because then it's easier for me to skip, it's easier for me to save, and I know something is going to be coming either towards the end of May or into the beginning of June. My guess would be there's going to be a crossover sometime in the next month, and then probably within a week or two of the crossover, they're going to drop the summer costumes. They like to just hit us. It's like, think about the half-year anniversary, right? Limit Break Draw, Banner 1, Cloud Glen. 2 weeks later, Limit Break Draw, Banner 2, Sephiroth, Zack. So boom, boom, right in a row. I can't exactly remember what came after that, but I do know, oh no, I think Kate Sith came after that. And then after that was freaking Aerith's Easter costume, then Tifa's Easter costume. So it's like they get on these rolls, right? And I felt like before leading up to the crossover, I kind of felt like this, where I felt like each of the banners was like good in a lot of ways, but skippable as well. And I was like, okay, I feel like something's gearing up for something. And so I'm getting that feeling. Again, I have been getting that feeling for a few weeks. And so, yeah. That being said, if you have this original Dark Harbinger costume, I don't think there's any reason to pull on this new banner. I think that you wishlist both of the weapons later on. However, for those of you that do not have Sephiroth's Halloween costume, the question is it worth it to go for something that's not an Arcanum? Now, that is a tricky question, because I've gotten a lot of use out of Sephiroth's Wind Mastery costume. It's a fantastic costume, and his Dark Heavens absolutely crushes with it. So I'll say this, guys. If you've been wishlisting Dark Heavens and you have that sword OB6 and above, and you don't have a costume for it, it could be worth it to go on this banner. However, I do recommend waiting until the day before the end of this banner. Do not worry about the event. I do not ever pull on a banner to beat an event. Guys, that's not the way to go about this game. That's my opinion. You can take it with a grain of salt, but there's always going to be an event we can't beat, and feeling like we need to go in on every banner is exactly how the game is developed in order to make us spend as much as possible. So for me, that's an absolute no-no. So in my opinion, if you don't have a Wind Mastery and you do have Dark Heavens leveled up to at least OB5, because OB6 is doable if it's OB5, maybe even OB4, right? Then yeah, you could go for it. And hopefully you get a copy of Red's weapon along the way, and you'll get a copy of Seph's sword, and you'll already have Dark Heavens at OB4, and you'll get a new costume. That's 4 positive things. Solid bet. Still wait until either the day or the last day before the event goes down. All right? You don't want to pull for it now and then have a crossover drop in a week and then be like, holy shit, these new things are insane. I wish I would have waited, right? Because to be honest, if I really had to say, I would say wait for an Arcanum over a Mastery. They're just better, you know? They're just better in every way, shape, and form. So this is like pulling for a lesser version of something. So just keep that in mind, guys. All right, now to go and look at the sword, right? And the sword is also pretty good, but not anywhere near as good as Red XIII's weapon, in my opinion. So at base 5-star right here, we're going to have 283 physical attack. The R ability is going to be physical attack and wind potency here. The command ability is going to be theatrical strike, 3 ATB cost. It's going to boost physical attack to the self, potency mid, max potency mid at base. When HP is 50% or more, wind damage is increased. So he's giving himself a wind potency buff, mid, max potency mid. So it goes mid, 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 mid on physical attack and wind potency up. All right, now let's take a look at it at OB6. All right, so the physical attack boost is going to go from mid to high, 2 casts. All right, that's solid. Also, the wind damage is going to be increased high right here. All right, oh no, actually, I take that back, guys. The physical attack does not go high, even at OB6. First potency mid, max potency mid. Okay, But however, the wind potency is going to go from mid. Where is it? Oh no, it's going to go instant high at OB6. All right, so yeah, so this is one of those weapons where it's more whaley territory, right? Because you're not actually unlocking the first high potency tier until OB6. All the way OB1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're capped at mid on both of them. Now, if we take a look at OB10, right? Physical attack is still capped at mid. It never hits high, guys. All right? However, the wind potency will go immediately to high instead of having to cast, actually right here, potency high, high. So yeah, so this is one of those swords where unless you're going for R abilities, you're not going to take this thing past OB6. Or at least you're not going to be wishlisting it past OB6, unless you just have everything else built and you're just trying to get it to OB10. But for me, I wishlist for like viability, usability, new types of weapons, where even one copy can change the outlook of how I'm approaching the game. All right, so it's very rare that I'm actually wishlisting something to OB10. Elemental Arcanum weapons, where I have the Arcanum costume, is a good bet for those. All right, so let's go back down to, let's jump up to OB10. We'll look at the weapon in its full glory. Let's look at the support ability. So it has physical ability damage 20%, physical ability damage 20%, and sigil boost break, which I was a little surprised to see this, because what it's saying is it's insinuating that it should go in the main hand right here, or it could go in the main hand. Now, this weapon, the reason it can go in the main hand is because of the high wind potency value here. Most elemental weapons cap at 39 at OB10. This one, however, caps at 52, which by itself is going to be 70% wind ability damage. Really freaking solid, guys. Super, super solid. This is like the secret strength of this weapon. Now, from OB6, it's 36, so you're going to get a lot of extra points, 16 extra points from that. But still, at 36, you're going to get 55%. So you get an extra 15% from that to OB6. But that being said, guys, I think that this is one of those banners where, you know, if you love this costume, right? And I love this costume, but I'm never going to tell anyone not to pull in something if you love the costume and you want to play the game and you think it's going to be fun. Obviously, you should do that. However, the drawback of doing that is that sometimes you're going to miss something really valuable in the game that might just be around the corner, and then you might feel bummed that you're not able to participate. For me, rather than playing with a cool looking costume, I would rather be able to play the content in the game. So I give up aesthetic things like that. So for me, this banner is a skip. Both weapons are wish listable in the future and should be wish listed in the future. If you do not have a Wind Mastery costume for Sephiroth, but you do have Dark Heavens at least OB4, OB3 and less, definite skip, guys. I do recommend waiting for an Arcanum. If you don't want to do that, you want to participate in this, you have the extra crystals, and you're going to go for the banner. As long as you have Dark Heavens, you're really going to be able to make good use of this out there in the game, and it's going to bring you a lot of joy and fun. I wish you guys the best of luck on also pulling a copy of Red XIII's weapon. I cannot wait to get my own hands on Red XIII's weapon, which is so freaking cool. All right, guys, that being said, that is going to conclude my to pull or not to pull video. For those of you guys that are pulling on this banner, I wish you guys the best of luck out there. I cannot wait to pair with you guys in a co-op room and look at you guys with the new Sephiroth costume running around slaying shit. I think it's just super, super, super fun. All right, guys, that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video today, don't forget to drop a like and sub to the channel for future Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content. Hope you all have a wonderful night. Take care and peace.